Gen Z, you're at risk, let me tell you. It's not just from
The right influence is very important.
Right influence. It's you. You are important. Are you interested in your own success, your own career, and what are you going to give for it? More important, what are you going to give up for it? This is your future, it's for you. The problem is with women going upwards, and unfortunately nothing has changed. I mean, our country had to pass a legislation to make sure that at least there is one woman on the board, and that woman is not just a token woman on the board, right? Which is why, they had to do what they have done.
Do you think that's now changing?
AI is everyone's favorite subject, and I actually do a training program called AI to EI.
Okay.
Artificial intelligence to emotional intelligence. Yes, AI helps where it's never going to take your job, but find the initiative, because AI can't take initiative. Right? AI can answer a question, AI can reply to a prompt. If I were to ask you, if I were to switch off your WhatsApp for an hour a day will give you 2 months extra in your year. After people do that, they never say I don't have time.
Can you tell us a little about Bosses of the Wild and your recent one, In the Name of First?
In the Name of is a love story. Babri Masjid, December 6th happened.
Okay.
The Manchester arena terrorist attack, right? All the events I described, they're real, they're historical, they're contemporary. So that is In the Name of. Crash's Careers was actually in 2011. It's a bunch of notes from a parent to young people, and 45 young people have written in the book. And it's really fun because it was lovely the way they wrote.
Your book, Bosses of the Wild, where you compare, certain animal traits to leaders.
So if we take 9 months to be born, elephants take 22 months to be born.
Oh, that's a lot longer.
A bunch of 8 to 10 female elephants, which are the mother, the aunts, the grandmother, everyone looks after one baby. And I was likening this exactly to the Indian joint family system. So that's where the name came from. We do coaching, training, mentoring, all of that through Elephant Connect, because we want people to be the best at what they do.
Which animal do you relate to the most? And which animal do you wish you were?
I was born a dolphin, like most other children. Their natural anatomy is their face, they're smiling. With work life and its demands, I've ended up being a lioness. They teach the cubs everything.
These youngsters are taking, including me, I would take advice, leadership advice, or mentoring from social media.
I think scrolling through reels is a very good idea as long as you have the right, as long as you have the right reels. If it's good advice, including your best friend, your boss, your mom, your whoever, person on the street, imbibe what is right.
Hello and welcome to ABP Live. I'm Rifa, and today we have with us a very special guest. She's a dynamic leader herself, Manjiri Gokhale Joshi. She's the co-founder of Elephant Connect. Ma'am, I see that you're a leadership coach, you're an author, you're a social impact advocate whose work blends corporate experience, journalism, and deep commitment to inclusion. Were you drawn towards these topics while you were an investigative journalist? Was there something that you saw, something that happened in your life, an anecdote that you'd want to share?
So when I was at DataQuest, we had done this survey, and this is a good 20 plus years ago, and unfortunately nothing has changed. That's the sad story. Nothing much has changed, and it's pretty much the same even in the UK, where I've worked the last 16 years. What happens is, if you see our MBA classes today, or if you see our engineering colleges today, there's more than 50% women sometimes. Right. It's excellent, and women are doing so well. Sure. And what happens 5 years down the line, right? If you look at mid-level managers, or look at what happens, suddenly did they become less intelligent, less capable? What happened to them? Then you look at 10 years down the line, and then you look at even fewer. You look at the number of women CEOs, you look at the number of leads, people leading from the top, and you look at the board of directors. I mean, our country had to pass a legislation to make sure that at least there is one woman on the board, and that one woman on the board is not a token woman on the board, and that woman is not just a token woman on the board, she's not a relative of the founder, right? Which is why, they had to do what they have done. Now, the problem here is not with the work world at all. It is not with the professional world at all. It is also not with the women themselves. The problem is with our social setup. Okay. Right? The social setup demands that you ask any young MBA student saying, oh, my parents are now looking out. After I finish my MBA, looking out is fine. In our country, people look out and they find partners, great idea. whether you're looking out or whether you meet each other, the natural assumption is that the woman will join her husband or partner wherever he is in the world, irrespective of whether she has opportunity there, whether she likes it there or not.
Do you think that's now changing?
I hope so. I
Okay.
hope for your sake that it will change.
Okay.
So that's the first one. The second one is the having of the child. Right now, here I'm talking about a certain career trajectory which goes the biological clock and all of that. That's
Right.
the second pressure. Number two, now you should have children, children, children. So there's a child. There might be a second child. By then, the woman is grappling with what is called networking opportunities in the evening, which a lot of times she doesn't want to make because she doesn't want to, further
Right.
sacrifice her family time. There is a long commute because a lot of places still don't believe in work from home or remote and all of that. And by then, and that's very, very sad, because by then her income is now being treated as a second income.
Right.
Because the first income somehow has got better, so it's not needed and it's not priority. Now, I'm giving you this, which is a traditional generic scenario. It's
Right.
not the case in every family and everywhere else,
Right.
but this has to change.
And you've authored so many books: Bosses of the Wild, Crushes, Careers and Cell Phones, Lessons from Contemporary Inspirational Leaders, and your most recent one was In the Name of. Your book, Bosses of the Wild, that's very different from the other leadership books that we've read, where you compare, certain animal traits to leaders. How did you get the idea of, relating these traits to actual leadership styles?
Yeah, so what happened was, when I moved to the UK in 2009, there were some people at my workplace in London who used to remind me of somebody way back in Delhi or Pune or Mumbai, and I was very curious, why is this happening? Because they don't look like each other, they don't sound like each other, but I can predict how they're behaving. And it got me thinking, and I did my undergraduate in psychology, and leadership is my passion and subject. And so I read up and I said, okay, this is about personality types. And there are a lot of personality, theories, personality typing theories, as you know, and there are tests and you can make out who you are. But some of them are very simplistic, and one of the very good ones, actually, Myers-Briggs, MBTI, is very accurate. It's 16 personality types, but it's very difficult to remember. So if I told you 5 years later, your personality type is ENFJ, ISTJ, it's very difficult to remember that, the coding. And so I hit upon this animal idea, and then made a list of everyone I knew, everyone I had worked with, put them in a spreadsheet, looked at the personality types, looked at the animals as well, approached animal behavior experts who are PhDs in their own right, each of them in one animal. So everything that is written in the book about animals is spot on. There is no myth. There is nothing which is unscientific, because they have validated it. I'm not an animal expert, but it was very important to get that.
So you're the co-founder of Elephant Connect.
Yes.
And elephants are supposed to be true leaders,
Yes.
nature's true leaders. Can you tell us how you stumbled upon this name and why Elephant Connect?
Right.
What is the connect?
Right. So what is the connect? Yes, good one. So yes, so in the book there are 10 animals, and so among the 10 animals, the elephant is the nurturer. I'll tell you why the nurturer, and the story behind that is, if I were to ask you a reverse question, Rifa, do you know how long an elephant's pregnancy takes?
No.
Could you guess?
A couple of months longer than a human's, I'm assuming.
Yes. So if we take 9 months to be born, elephants take 22 months to be born.
Oh, that's a lot longer.
That is a lot longer. So it's 22 months of pregnancy. Following that, for 14 years, you will find that female elephants, a bunch of 8 to 10 female elephants, which are the mother, the aunts, the grandmother, everyone looks after one baby.
Oh.
Right? So they send off the mother off to feed, saying, you get your nutrition, we'll train this child, we'll make sure the baby is protected, knows how to feed, knows many things. They keep making mistakes, they stumble, they're so cute. So we do all that. They do that for 14 years. After that, the elephant goes out, the male elephant especially goes out into the wild, and that elephant is able to recognize himself in mirrors, is able to, they're able to find water sources in a drought. They mourn their dead, they actually stand there, mourn their dead. They're as good as humans in all ways.
Yeah.
So the concept was that it's about nurturing.
A
Right?
village is nurturing a child
Yes,
here.
and I was likening this exactly to the Indian joint family system. Right? I don't, unfortunately, young people today have not had the pleasure of being in a joint family. I did. I was very, very fortunate, and in our family, and people find it weird. Really, you grew up with so many people? I said, yeah, there were 24 of us in a family, and my father, his two brothers and their families, and all the aunts. And in that kind of family, one aunt is in charge of cooking, one aunt is in charge of homework, one aunt is, my mother was in charge of doing maths for people because she was a doctor, and she was like that. And I learned cooking from my other aunt. Somebody is in charge of telling you Mahabharat stories. Somebody is in charge of teaching you how to drive. And this is how it works, and which is why we are what we are.
It's like a little institution in itself.
Exactly. So that's where the name came from, saying Elephant Connect Education. What we do is we nurture young people to first thing, do excel in their careers. So in the UK we have math, science, English, Spanish, all the tuitions which are required from school right up to A levels, which is called in the UK, and we're going to university. And all the other work we do in nurturing leaders, we do coaching, training, mentoring, all of that through Elephant Connect, because we want people to be the best at what they do.
So your initiative, Maya Care, you talk about inclusion. So can you tell me how most organizations currently are treating inclusion as a compliance issue? How would you, pitch it to them? See, this can also be of strategic importance to you.
Yes, excellent question, Ripa, because obviously I've been on the other side a lot. I was also head of Equality, Diversity, Inclusion, EDI head at Side Business School, University of Oxford till a few months ago. I've been an employer, of course, on the other side. Is that employers are afraid, right? So because of this tick in the box exercise or compliance, people are afraid. And I think they have reason to be afraid. Okay, and see, when it comes to ethnicity, they're less afraid, because someone of brown skin, black skin, someone like me entering a workplace and just working is fine. I mean, yeah, they don't have to make any special adjustments for me to be able to work. They were afraid of women too many years ago, and even simple things like they want women's washrooms a lot of times in workplaces and all, but it's not a big deal. Now it's about having sanitary products. It's really not a big deal. Especially in the kind of work we're talking about, when it involves physical strength or something, going out and defense, it's a different area, so it's, but still, it's easy. This one is very difficult. I'll tell you why, because the onus has been put on the employer to say make reasonable adjustments. In the UK, it's called reasonable adjustment. In this case, it's going to be, I mean, if I am a person with disability, I could sue the organization or potentially go to the media or say that, oh, I didn't get the job or I was sacked because of this.
But is the situation slightly better outside as compared to India?
No, absolutely not, because the fear is everywhere.
Okay.
And the fear is also because of the capability issue, not inherent capability, but simply the lack of opportunity to work. So you asked me about Maya Care, and we have Maya Care teams, people with disabilities who work with us in India as well as the UK. And the situation is completely different in both places. In the UK, it's largely the benefit system. People, have never worked, never been expected to work because of, various cultural and, whatever other reasons. That's a different story. But in India, it's such that everyone has expected the families to look after them. Sometimes people in their 30s and 40s and they haven't worked and they're educated. Like in our case, the people from my team coordinating with you, if I didn't tell you, you wouldn't know they're on wheelchairs. But if I were to tell you in the beginning that, there's somebody with this, you say, why is she telling me this? Am I expected to do something? My studio, I don't know if they can come in, I don't know if there's wheelchair access, all of that. There's this panic, so we need to stop that. And, for the last time, I think disability is much more than creating a ramp for someone to go in.
True.
So because there are many concerns, this whole obsession with coming to work and not trusting people that they are going to work for the outcome, that is another root cause.
Do you think hybrid work environment and remote work would really empower them?
Yes, it has. It has. In our case, everybody works from home.
Okay.
They work in 72 cities of India. From their own homes, we have equipped them with laptops, with, of course, smartphones, routers, whatever it takes to, because in our country, even internet, sorting that out is very important, dongles, whatever is needed. So all that's done. More important, and why employers are afraid, is that, if you have a job, you're supposed to pay them, whether they work or not. And you can't sack them, right? So it is really about intelligent performance management measures. Managers just with the desire, just with the desire to work with people. That's enough. It's going to work in the long run if that happens.
So, people with certain impairments, do you think it hampers their confidence a little bit? How do you, mold them into leaders for the future? How do you do that? Because I'm assuming that with the way things have been over the past couple of decades, although there have been changes in the workplace, but I'm sure it must have affected their confidence to a certain level. They're going to the same schools, they're going to the same institutions, but are they also, aware that they can also get into leadership positions now?
Yes, so I have few lovely stories, and my favorite one is of somebody called Abhijit Mali. I love to speak about him, and we have a 7-minute film on his life, which just won the National CSR Award last year. It's a story which he's based in Atpadi. I don't think anybody has heard of this village. It's a small village, not really village, small town near Sangli and in Solapur in Maharashtra. Okay, so it's very remote. So he was a wrestler, right, at national level wrestler. At the age of 22, he had a terrible accident, and he's on a wheelchair. His fingers also don't move. He's not able to even lift his fingers. So, like everyone else who have worked with us, who work with us, somewhere or the other they have contemplated ending their lives. They're very, very low in their minds, and it's a terrible feeling, especially to in his own words, to say, I'm the only man in the family not earning, and others and all of that. So the film actually begins with his mother brushing his teeth every morning, doing his hair. His cousins pick him up from the bed and put him in the wheelchair. And the happy story after that is such that he came to Maya Care 4 years ago, and he has a very powerful voice. And what I love about Abhijit is his superlatively powerful voice and his assertion, and somewhere it's that maybe that wrestler thing comes in. And in his own words, he says that I didn't expect to be paid, because I was lying in bed just talking to people on the phone. They asked me to make some calls, and suddenly I saw money in the bank. And I thought to myself that if I actually work with my heart and soul, what will happen? Today, the man leads 72 cities of India. And
that's commendable.
And he uses a computer with a stylus in his mouth, which he's fashioned himself, and the computer and the phone, and he's leading people. And at the All India Management Association IMA award 2 years ago, so he was one of the presenters, and it's the first year in the 47-year-old history of IMA that people with disabilities represented and won the award.
That is great to know. Okay, now how do you measure the impact of inclusive leadership beyond just diversity numbers, and basically what will success look like to us? What do you think, where do we need to get to?
I think success for me would be any workplace, right? Today, I'm not thinking that is this a lady, person, man, who are we hiring, or I hope nobody's thinking of caste and nobody's thinking of ethnicity. I think that's what success should look like. They should stop asking what is your preferred, pronoun, and whether you have a disability or not. They should ask whether you can do the job, and if you can't do the job, if we train you a bit, do you want to do the job? That's what success. Yes, do you want to do the job? Because for me, it's attitude. That is the only thing that matters. And I'm not talking about very specialized jobs like somebody's a lawyer or a doctor or an engineer. I can't do that job either. I'm not. But if it's a generic project coordination, project management, event management, communication kind of job where you have the inherent skill, teach. For heaven's sake, teach. They will learn.
So that's where the lioness instinct kicks in.
Yes.
Okay. You've mentored different generations, I'm sure. Now, when you've mentored the recent, Gen Z, what are certain leadership traits that you see that they have that the previous, say, boomers or the millennials, they didn't? That you see that Gen Z workforce actually has these traits that are really good leadership skills.
Great question, and I hope the Gen Zs are listening, because because the Gen Zs, what I love about them is their confidence, right? The confidence to say no. I think my generation, at least me, took ages to be able to say no to something we don't want to do. Right? So first thing, it's a positive, the confidence in general, confidence to say no, confidence to say, fine, I don't want to buy a house, I don't want an EMI, I'm okay with, I'm okay with this lifestyle of a, Uberized lifestyle, the gig economy and all of that. So I think that's good. Also, not holding on to the past. I think this whole thing of letting go in terms of personal life, a lot of, there are so many positives on that front.
Okay.
My only suggestion, I would say, because with Gen Z you don't give advice, so my only suggestion is say that push yourself a little more. Because when you say no, you're saying no to something you don't know.
Right.
You haven't even tried.
Okay.
You might even like it because you've actually decided, I don't like 1, 2, 3. I mean, as a young person, I had, of course, decided that I can only do this. If you had asked me when I was, 18, if I would be sitting here in a studio with you and I would have been a past CEO and whatever else, I would have found it impossible to believe. Impossible, believe me. I never tried, I never thought it's possible. And that's
So
what's
try.
happening. Yes, just try. And let people into your lives. Don't close out people so much.
So growing up, I watched my mom listen to these cassettes and read these books, 7 Habits, Stephen Covey, and Atomic Habits, and the 8th Habit, and I don't know how many habits. So all of that. And now we see this youngsters are taking, including me, I mean, I would take advice, leadership advice, or, mentoring from social media. Social media, there are a lot of personalities, they pop up on your feed and all of that. How do you think things have changed while you were, when you were younger? How easily is that information available? How many people are actually thinking about it? Do more people want to be leaders now?
So I think people do want to lead, but they want an easy way. And saying, I don't want all this 14-hour work days and all that thing which you went through, so they don't want to lead. And I think
scroll through my reels.
Yeah, I know, and I think scrolling through reels is a very good idea as long as you have the right, as long as you have the right reels. I'm obsessed with Bollywood. My husband and me, my husband Abhay Joshi and me, we watch a lot of movies, Bollywood, Hollywood, everything.
Okay.
But I have a golden rule: I don't watch bad movies.
Okay.
In fact, my family tells me, don't watch this movie, you'll get stressed because it's so bad and you'll think it's a waste of your time.
Okay.
So I definitely watch reels, but I will scroll through very, very, very quickly if it's something which I don't want to,
So
don't
you
waste
don't
your
want
time.
to like mess up your algorithm, and you want
absolutely
no brain rot.
No, the algorithm is much more intelligent than I am, so so I don't think I can influence the algorithm much. But what I'm trying to say is that use every medium. Right?
Okay.
If it's your YouTube, if it's your Insta, it's wherever it's coming from. If it's good advice, including your best friend, your boss, your mom, your whoever, person on the street, imbibe what is right.
So with AI reshaping the workforce and across industries, that is, how do you think that's going to help inclusion in future? One. And do you think a lot has changed? Has it also given a lot more opportunities to people who have certain impairments? AI must have definitely helped them that way.
Yes, AI helps where the disadvantaged students I talk about, or I work with, or even the people with disabilities I work with, they have many more disadvantages. English is sometimes their third, fourth, second language, third, fourth often, and it's very tough. Try teaching a language to someone in adulthood. As a child is a different story. So they do use a lot of it. They use a lot of stuff I know and I can make out because they don't speak like that, and suddenly I get emails like that. So I know it's happening, but it's really a question of responsibility and how to use it. So it's good. That bit is going to be really good. If you ask me the second fear, right, the Gen Z fear, is AI going to take my job? It's not just the Gen Z fear. A lot of other people across generations have this fear now. AI going to take my job. So it's the same, right? So if you actually use AI to do things which you don't need to do yourself,
Like a tool.
like a tool, you simplify things. You put a method to the madness. You get AI to do a deep dive. Teach that AI how to do it for you. Then you do better stuff. You do stuff like leadership development. You do stuff which needs you, which needs your emotion and everything else. It's never going to take your job. But find the initiative, because AI can't take initiative. Right? AI can answer a question. AI can reply to a prompt. So your job is to create intelligent prompts. Once that's done, never. I mean, this AI is a new thing. When I say it's a new thing, it's a new risk. You know, in my last whatever 30-year-old career, I've been told Y2K is going to take your job, dot-coms are going to take your job, computers themselves are going to take your jobs, or the internet is going to take your jobs.
On
all
the
kinds of
contrary,
things.
they did create a lot of jobs.
And more than anything, it empowered us. All the stories I told you about ancient journalism, I mean, I was the happiest when I first saw the internet. I just, you know, it became my best friend, really, because that is it, you know. How difficult it used to be to go to a library and research and all of that. So what I'm saying is use AI, leverage AI,
Right.
right? But don't make it an excuse. Do what you have to do. Create your own work in any job, initiative, entrepreneurship.
Okay. So that was Manjiri Gokhale Joshi with us. And thank you for your thoughtful insights. I'm sure the younger generation and a lot of people will have a lot to take away from this conversation. Thank you again and all the very best.
Thank you.